So I already know what I'm gonna get because Alex, the owner of the gym that I train at and that me and Steve do our sessions at, told me to get the country Benny. So that's what I'm getting. We're just waiting for Steve to pull up now. He said he'll be here in 5 minutes. So see you soon. About to interrupt you to say, are you taking that home?
Yes.
It looked like you about to take that home. So let me ask you a question. Has that been a habit always, or only when you started working with cars? And it's okay. I can handle the truth. I'm just
You
wondering.
can't handle the truth.
I can handle the truth.
It has not been a habit always. I started that when you were telling me that that's a way to kind of manage what I eat, and so luckily, it's kind of gotten to become a habit now, where I'm able to not eat the full thing because I'm full right now. But it was very good, and I could have eaten all of it, but taking the rest of it home.
It's a sunny day. Sunny day. We just finished our meal at HomeGrown in Brookside. Smacked it down. Had me the country bennies, side of potatoes, and a sunrise juice. And we're about to update y'all on our opinions on the food right about now. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy CIZZY, and I feel like we should have like some opera music playing on the radio, low and below. Anyways, who are you?
Interesting. I'm Stevie B. Eaton.
I love it every time. Y'all gotta. So if you watch this today, make sure you leave a comment below and let us know what should my little nickname be. Because I've been calling myself Sizzy forever. CIZZY. It's my thing already from my other podcasts. I gotta find something that's more related to food, more related to lifestyle experiences. You know what I'm saying? So y'all let me know. Also, do y'all like the hair? I feel like I should have put some baby oil on it before we came here today. Yeah. With that being said, we are in Brookside, Kansas City, ladies and gentlemen, and I want us to tell the stories behind why we ended up in Brookside. Like, do you work in Brookside? Like, how did you find the gym in Brookside? Why do you even be in Brookside, Steve? And then from there, I'll share my little story about how I ended up being in the Brookside neighborhood over the past year.
Okay, so one of the things is that I work in Kansas on the Kansas side, and in order to get from my home to work, I always take 63rd Street, which goes right through Brookside, because taking the highway is always a challenge, and there's always like bad traffic or accident or something like that. So it just makes more sense for me to just go through Brookside, and that's why I always and I always liked Brookside. I lived close to this area before, and I love the shops down here. I love the personality that it has, and I'm a Brookside fan.
Okay, interesting. I just thought about that. Where you live and where you work, technically, you really could just take 63rd almost
Hmm.
all the way through. So that's interesting. And so that's how you kind of found out about LAF, the gym, and then that's how you
Yep.
kind of ended up there. Okay, perfect. So how college ended up in Brookside is a little over a year ago. So it's November right now. So like September, August of 2022. I had quit another job and was just looking for a little interim job. So I started. Who told me about? Oh yeah, I applied on like Craigslist or something to a job at like a wellness shop or whatever is what they called it. But it was really just a juicery, which was Billy's Juicery on 63rd Street in Brookside. I went in for an interview after I had done an interview for like a penny pickup job or something. I don't know, like where you go pick up pennies from like ATMs and stuff. And then I had another interview. I was like, I don't want to do this shit. And like
Hmm.
the manager from Billy's Juicery called me right after I finished that interview. I was like, yes, I'm on my way. And so I pulled up there, and then I was like, yeah, just give me the job. So, anyways, I was a barista there, learned how to make coffee, learned how to make juices, learned how to do the bacon shit, bacon stuff, and all that. I was there for maybe like 2, 3 months. I already know I wasn't gonna be there for that long. So 2, 3 months while I was serving through the drive-through, one of Alex, who's the owner of Life Adaptive Fitness, the gym that I
Alex.
train Steve at, he was apparently looking for a trainer at one time, and he had a client, and the client used to come to Billy's Juicery, and that client said, "Oh, didn't you say you were a personal trainer last time I came through the drive-thru?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I think my trainer is looking for more trainers," and I was like, "Cool." So walked up to Life Adaptive Fitness. Here we are, a year and a half later, training clients there, pretty much there. You could call it full time. I mean, I'm a contractor, but you know, I
That's
be in
fair.
there all the time, and so that is the 3 minute and 30-second story about why we ended up going to Homegrown Daytime Eatery, which is a breakfast spot here in Brookside. They have a few more locations. I know there's one in Overland Park slash Leewood or something
Yeah,
like that.
there's one in Liberty, and they're going to be opening up one in the Power and Light District, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. I
Hmm.
saw that under 3 Light, right under the new building,
I
or like
think
right in
so.
the same
Yeah,
area.
and
So
they are actually based. I think they're based in Wichita.
okay,
I
interesting. Kind of
think is
like
where they're
Medis.
from.
I think
Yeah.
Medis, which will be a place that we might go visit.
Yes.
And they just opened up in Brookside.
Hmm.
And they also have locations in like Prairie Village slash Leewood. I'll just call it Leewood because right down the street from Leewood. It's so confusing. But anyways, we ended up going to home. What is it called again?
Homegrown.
Homegrown. I said hometown. Homegrown Daytime Eatery for some breakfast today, and decided
Yes,
we would do the review in the vehicle. So before I came here today, I had trained Alec, Steve, my bad, bruh. You know, two black people, same thing.
that's racist.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I'm black too. Can I be? No, let's just move past that. All right. So, um, I had just finished training Steve, and our owner Alex was like, "I'm gonna go get breakfast." I said, "Where from?" He's like, "Homegrown." I said, "That's where we gonna go." And he's like, "Oh, you gotta get the country Benny." I was like,
Hmm.
that sounded a little sketchy, like Country Benny. If somebody was like, Country Benny's here, Country Benny's here, I'd be like, all black people need to leave the room and run. So I didn't know if I was going to
Country
get that
Betty.
item, but it sounded fire the way he described it. So I was already prepped when I was coming in today.
Hmm.
Talk more about your experience with Homegrown. You've come here a lot. It's one of your spots already before we even decided to come here today.
Yes, it actually is one of my spots. So I was definitely more, excited to hear about, I'm excited to hear about what you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, when someone asks me, because people ask me all the time, like, where should I go for breakfast? Where should I go for brunch? Lunch, dinner, whatever. And then generally, when they ask me for breakfast spots, homegrown is always one of the first things that I say. And whenever I have a business meeting or something like that, I usually, try to do homegrown because I have not had anybody yet be upset that we went to homegrown. So,
Interesting, interesting. Which is also funny because when you mentioned business meeting, there's a whole lot of people in there that were coming together to meet. They had their backpacks, their satchels, their
hmm.
laptops to come in and talk. And I guess you do see that at coffee shops, but when I think about like IHOP or Denny's,
Right.
which is what I think of when we talk about breakfast food, I don't think about business meetings or closing deals. And you can
Hmm.
definitely tell, specifically in this neighborhood in Brookside as well, that people are here to like eat, yes, but definitely as business meetings, not
Yeah.
necessarily as like a family gathering or anything like
Right.
that. At least if it's during the week. I'm
Right.
sure
During the week.
that
During the
changes
weekend, yeah,
as
there's
a
a lot
whole
of families
whole
and
new story.
hmm.
Exactly. So I got the country Benny, country Benny, which I will talk about shortly. But also before Steve arrived, which you will see in this video, I got a sunrise juice. I will say is not nowhere near good juice as Billy's Juicery, but that's because
Hmm.
Billy's Juicery is specialist with juices, and this place probably just mixed a whole bunch of random shit through some ice in there. That's my thought process. That's my opinion.
Wow.
So I would say I didn't really care for the juice.
Hmm.
Knocked it down. It was filled with ice, so I felt like I really was just drinking ice. But I'm trying to stay away from coffee, so I was like, let me just do a juice. And so that's what I ended up having before Steve came in. Steve, when you were coming here, what food items were you thinking about getting? AKA, what are your typical go-to items when you go to Homegrown for the individuals who might care about what you always get?
Well, sometimes I get the traditional breakfast because their actual regular breakfast is good. I like the baked oatmeal, and a lot of times people are like, baked oatmeal, what the hell is that? And it's actually, they make the oatmeal, then they lay it out on a like a baking sheet, and
Mm-hmm.
then they actually bake it, and then they cut it up, and so it has like some crispness to it. And
Mm-hmm.
then they have like berries and things like fruit and stuff
Yeah.
like that you add to it. And I usually get I have them give me a little bit of brown sugar, and then they give you a little mini teapot, because I can't think of what else
Yeah.
to call it, of milk that you can mix in there too. So I like the baked oatmeal. I like the avocado toast. So really, I've tried to try a bunch of things, and I try their seasonal things a lot. Like one time they had a breakfast meatloaf that was
That
fire.
sounds fire.
Yeah, it had like ground beef and then sausage, and it was really good. So
Have you
that's
ever
generally.
thought about how like some restaurants do seasonal things just like fashion companies? Like you have your fall, winter,
I never really thought about it
spring,
that way.
and summer drops or collections, and then essentially restaurants do the exact same thing just
Yeah.
in a less fancy way.
Hmm.
Like I feel like they should do collection, like food collection drops though. Like call them drops and try to like, I don't know. Uh, I'm gonna make up a word right now. Luxurize it. They should like try to luxurize it. So
Luxurize.
they'll like do a collection drop, but they'll like have people walk down with a fire ass outfit with the food in hand,
Hmm.
and then like serve it to people.
That's
And like you
interesting.
sit there and you watch them walk down the aisle, but it's with like you have to be the best waitress, like whoever can be the best waiter or waitress,
Right.
walk down the aisle, turn, serve, and then walk away. I don't know. I think they should do that, and it could be like a whole restaurant collection drop, winter, summer, spring. And instead of people like all trying to come there to eat, you have to like sign up tickets in advance, like $50
Right.
tickets. So it could also be some good money to make because you know what your
Right.
average ticket cost is going to be and how much you're going to make essentially up front. And then you adjust your food, items that you buy so that you're not wasting any money
Yeah.
on inventory. Anyways, just a thought process that
Interesting.
popped in my head. If you guys think that restaurants should do collection drops like fashion drops, drop a comment below and say, hell yeah.
Or hell no.
Honestly, shout out to these ladies. Their outfits are kind of cute. Very Brookside. Give
Very Brookside.
for people who don't come to Brookside, give a quick example of, or not example, or explanation of what you would call the vibe of Brookside.
Mm.
So what I'm gonna say is old money, 75% old money. Uh, with respect, Caucasian. Uh, typically not like Italian or anything, just like standard American,
Hmm.
generic American, 75% old money, quaint, small town in the midst of a big city vibe. Boom.
Mm.
That's what I would say. I would say a lot of lawyers, a lot of um, politicians. I would say a lot of um, maybe retired executives that bought a house here once they retired. That's what I would say. And then the other 25% is old homes that aren't as high in value because they're old and kind of falling apart. So new families buy them and move into the neighborhood. So a lot of like 30s with their first two kids, or a lot of 60 and up retired business professionals.
Totally disagree.
Intriguing. Okay, go. Let me hear your route.
So when I look at Brookside, um, I don't see. I mean, there are some older people, but there's a lot of young, affluent couples and families. And the houses here, if you look at the houses for sale, they're old, but they're very expensive,
Hmm.
because you're in Brookside. So
Okay.
you have a lot of older homes that aren't necessarily like bigger homes necessarily, but they're very expensive.
Historical builds that they're no longer building homes like that
Right,
anymore. Yeah.
exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
so you have a lot of, I would say, young professionals, and you do have some of the older ones as well. And then you also have a decent sized audience of LGBT
Yes.
in
Yes.
this
Yes. For
area
sure.
too. So it's kind of like, almost like what they used to call kind of like a yuppie area,
Mm.
where it's diverse,
Yes.
because there are, the majority is still, Caucasian, but there's also a lot of other things that are mixed.
Subcultures.
Yeah,
Subcultures. It may not necessarily be racial or like, color based, but there is a lot of subcultures
right,
in Brookside for sure.
right.
Whether it's fashion or interests
Hmm.
or um, sexuality, whatever it might be, but a lot of cool, interesting subcultures. I do
Right.
agree with that. Okay, he
So
did a way better job explaining than I did, so definitely take his. I think you guys will probably comment and agree that his description of Brookside was better. So, with that being said, let's jump into the food items that we got today.
yes.
Country Benny's. Now, I don't have you will
Nope.
see on screen, I do have the menu on screen, so you'll be able to look there, but I don't have it right here memorized. So, what I can
Mhm.
tell you is if you have Eggs Benedict, do your best to explain an Eggs Benedict. Psych, I'm going to do it because I just learned about what an Eggs Benedict was about an
Um,
hour and a half ago.
but you're forgetting what we had first.
Oh, snap. Yeah, yes. But you'll describe that better, and you're the one that put us on, and you're the one that said, let's do that. So I think
Okay.
you should explain it, although it was really good. So, damn, son. Embarrass Al. Why do I keep calling you Alex?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I
Well,
don't
that's a
know.
good thing. Alex is buff,
I know. I mean, I wish I
Hey,
looked like
hey,
Alex,
look,
but I don't.
All right, so eggs Benedict is kind of like a piece of bread. I don't know what type of bread. English muffin. Like imagine like
Mhm.
an English muffin style bread. There's like the bottom of it. It's a little bit more tastier than a basic generic English muffin. So I'm
Mhm.
sure they add some type of seasoning, or maybe it's like a honey bread or a honey English muffin. I don't know. Then it's sausage or turkey. Sometimes a sausage, patty, sausage patty,
Mhm.
or a turkey patty. I think mine was a sausage patty. Then it has a egg. You can get it like a, how do they call it?
You can
Over
get it
easy, hard,
right
soft,
or
or
poached.
poached. I don't know about all those. When they start asking me what type, how do you want your eggs? I'm like, I don't know. Good shit. Anyways, I had to ask for his help. I was like, I don't know, you easy over hard. Yeah, all of that. And anyways, I said I don't complain. I don't take my food back. You put some hair in my food, I'm gonna eat it. So you put the egg on top of the sausage, which is on top of the bread, the English muffin bread, and then you put another piece of bread on top of there, and then from there they put. So this is where it gets different than eggs Benedict. Eggs Benedict apparently they put like horseradish or what do they call it? I don't know. Uh,
Hollandaise.
Holidays, yeah.
Hollandaise.
Hollandaise. Hollandaise.
Hollandaise.
That's terrible. I don't like that. But anyways, they put hollandaise on top of it. But instead, with what I got, which is a country's Benny, is everything I said. But instead of the hollandaise, they put biscuit or what is it called?
Gravy.
Gravy. I don't eat American food, man. They
Ah!
have gravy on top of it, so I would say it was super fire. It's like two separate biscuits, so you got two of those, a lot of gravy on there, and then a side of potatoes. Obviously, I already said it's super fire, so I really enjoyed it. I could say that they could have served it a little bit hotter. Now, it was not
Mm.
cold, it was not warm, it was just above warm and just below hot as hell. So whatever you want to call that. And I think that certain food items should just always come extremely hot. So when you bite into them, it's like this steamy. That's how I feel about biscuits, egg, and gravy type vibes, or anything with like eggs. I feel like there should be no sense of, is this warm? You shouldn't even have to ask yourself that question. It should automatically be like, damn, that was hot as hell. So I feel like it could have been a little bit hotter, but outside of that, I would say it was really delicious. I think that there wasn't anything special about the texture. There wasn't really special about the taste. And what I mean by that is when we go to restaurants like Bacaro Primo, or when we go to restaurants like I don't know, restaurants that are very particular about like how they're making things, like we want to add this radish on top to add this type of
Right.
spice. Homegrown is a generic American breakfast eatery. He can disagree and give his opinion in a second, but that's my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. A generic American breakfast eatery where they just make things that taste good. It's like something you could get out of the box and it would taste fire and you wouldn't complain, but the presentation's not like crazy beautiful. It's not a. Your face is making me pause. Like, wait, am I wrong? But no, this is how I feel. So I feel like it's very generic. Something you could have made at your house, but it tasted like a
Mm.
10 out of 10. So I know we're not supposed to give ratings right now, but I'd go ahead and give my meal a 10 out of 10. But I also feel like if I asked my girl to make this at home, or if I like bought it in a box at Hy-Vee, that I could like warm it up and make it taste just as good. So that is my humble opinion on my meal. I really enjoyed it. I would go back for it again, but I also believe that I could make it in my own house, or that anybody could make it out of the box. That's my humble opinion. So nothing special. I don't feel like a chef had to
Hmm.
chef it in a great, crazy way, and you have to go to culinary school for this. I feel like it's very simple, basic, tasty, delicious. That is my quick breakdown of my food item. I'm gonna let him break down the first dessert thing we had and what he chose.
Hmm.
My juice, like I said, not a fan.
So yeah, so I totally disagree with everything you say. But anyway, um, so I first every time I try to go there, I want to get um
Disagree with what?
anyway, their seasonal Pop Tarts because they have homemade Pop Tarts that they make in house, and they are generally, depending on what the season. Today was a strawberry one, and it was very good. Like the other ones have. I always, whenever I'm meeting with somebody, I say let's split a Pop Tart just so they can try it because it kind of takes you back to when you were a kid. But these are a lot better because one of the things that I will say about homegrown is that it's not like a typical eatery. It's not like going to like an IHOP, only because everything that they make is made out of locally sourced produce and meat and those kind of things. Henceforth, homegrown.
Which, if you look at the sorry, I probably yelled in y'all ear right there.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at the video I took of the menu, maybe I'll pause it and replay it again right here while I'm talking right here. But nonetheless, if you relook at it, there was a section that says homegrown and like who their partners were locally, so you can go and look at that. Sorry, go ahead.
So it's not something that you can just get out of a box and make. And but I digress. That's his thought. So what I had actually got was the BLTA and E minus the B. No, minus the T.
Which is
So
black lamb turkey.
so it's bacon, lettuce, and tomato, eggs, and or avocado and eggs. So I actually got it without the tomato because I don't really do tomato like that. But it was on locally baked multi-grain bread that you can't get at Hy-Vee. And then it had very good bacon. I had my egg. I got it over hard because I don't like the runny egg stuff. I remember this time, and it came with chips, but I got them with the rosemary potatoes instead, because I like their breakfast potatoes. So it was the first time I've actually tried the BLT sandwich, and it was actually very good. Like I enjoyed it. Um, Especially the bacon. Their bacon is always made perfectly how I would like my bacon to be prepared. Where it's crispy but not like hard. And the potatoes they had a good mixture of crunchy and soft
I feel like they
to
could.
them.
I feel like they could have been hotter.
They could have been hotter. I agree
Okay.
with that. I mean, I that's probably the only thing that I'll halfway agree with you. But yeah, it was actually very very good. I enjoyed mine, and I also got their orange juice because their orange juice is freshly squozen, freshly squeezed orange juice. And it was good as well.
Freshly squeezing.
And coffee.
I didn't understand. Shut
And
up, Siri.
Siri didn't understand what was going on. But
Because you
anyway,
said squozing. She don't know what that word means.
shut up. Anyway, but mine was good. I always enjoy, homegrown because I feel like it is something you can try something different there if you want to. Like, even though you said you could have had the eggs Benedict at home, you haven't had them because you've never had eggs Benedict before, correct? Thank you. So, I really enjoyed it, and always the now I will say the service today wasn't as good as I usually experience when I'm at there.
She didn't smile, not
She did
once.
not smile. She was not.
And now I know
Yeah,
y'all might be like, you don't always have to smile. Bruh, if you are working in the food industry,
the
we
service
and
industry
the
in
day
general,
just started, we gotta see a smile.
just a
Come on.
little,
Just a little bit. One smile. She's just staring at us like
right?
I said,
But
damn.
I mean,
I was waiting for her to crack a smile. I even laughed at something, thinking she would laugh at the
mm-mm,
fact that I laughed.
she don't care
Nah,
about your
nah. But
laughter. She don't
anyways,
care about your happiness. But but it was good. Like overall, I think everything that I had was up to par with what I was expecting.
okay. And I would agree. Pop Tart was super delicious. I would come back for that. I like the fact that when he cut it in half, it just perfectly split in
Mm-hmm.
half. And that's how you know the Pop Tart was baked, I guess is the word.
Mm-hmm.
Baked the right way. Also, can you make Pop Tarts on a pan? Like on the
Yeah.
stovetop?
On a stovetop, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean by on a pan.
Yeah, I think you bake them.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back with your final review.
So everybody, we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna give what I feel, and then he's gonna get in the car. He's not here, which I'm glad because he's a jerk. But anyway, so my thought is it was great. You know, it was always great. So I'm gonna give it a big taste.
All right, so he just left the car. I have his mic and my mic because during his video, I have my mic outside. So if y'all heard some crazy shit, I'm sorry. But I'm going to say that today I enjoyed the food. Service was trash, but we got seated quickly and it wasn't too crowded and we didn't have to wait too long for our food. So I'm going to give it a taste, not a waste. I want you to go check it out. Homegrown, Brookside, Kansas City, Missouri. He's flipping me off outside of the window. He's flipping me off, but he has this right here. Yeah, we judging. Bye. Go check out Homegrown.